Hey nerds, in this video I review and do a spoiler breakdown of The Last of Us Episode 7 titled Left Behind, written by Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, directed by Liza Johnson, starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social, I'm John. So, the spoiler-free summary logline for this episode is: as Joel fights to survive, Ellie looks back on the night that changed everything. This is a flashback episode. As Joel is fighting for his life and he's on death's door, we go to a flashback. It takes us back to before Ellie was captured by Marlene. We've got some memorable performances, not only from Bella Ramsay as Ellie here, but also a guest appearance by Storm Reid playing Riley, who is a friend of Ellie's. It's a great episode focusing more on character development. We see some great moments here and some great acting from the both of these ladies. Here's yet another strong episode for The Last of Us as we move towards the final two episodes of the season. There are nice character moments for all of them. The set pieces look fantastic. The music choices in this episode complement the mood and the scenes very, very well. Okay, that's enough for now. Otherwise, we're going to get into spoiler territory. Nerds, if you like content like this, please help us out, help this channel out, and help us to build an audience here. Please like and subscribe, and that way we can get you more of what you like here in future videos. Thank you. Let's get right into the spoiler breakdown. You've been warned. Alright folks, this episode here has Joel, after he's stabbed from the previous episode, they find shelter in some house somewhere. Bella Ramsay, Ellie, is trying to do her best to patch him up. Meanwhile, as she's thinking about Joel, there's a flashback. It takes us back to Ellie before she is captured by Marlene. It shows how we got that bite. We have a scene that shows that she is at a Fedra camp. It looks like there's some exercise going at that time, and she has a run-in with another girl at the camp. I guess these are other orphans as well, Bethany, and they get into a fight. She gets a nice shiner and gets sent to the principal's office. The principal here is Chen, who is Captain Kwong in here. If those of you who remember Chen more prominently recently, he was in The Expanse as Prax. Terry, as Captain Kwong, is giving a life lesson to Ellie here. And here we get a glimpse of what life is like with Fedra. They really believe that they're keeping order, and they're technically starting young. I guess this is their recruitment center. They're indoctrinating these children into Federal soldiers, basically. And Bella Ramsay as Ellie is definitely one of the recruits. They're using orphans to do that. That night, Ellie goes to bed. The window opens, and Riley comes in. Riley wants Ellie to come with her. She's got something to show her. Riley reveals that she has joined the Fireflies. So now we have two people who are at odds. So we've got Ellie and Riley, best friends. Apparently Riley used to be an orphan, used to be as a part of that Fedra orphan camp, and she had long ago escaped. It sounds like it was about 3 weeks prior. So now we have Ellie, who is basically spewing the propaganda of Fedra, and the Fireflies, diametrically opposed to all things Fedra, as almost like a resistance/terrorist organization. Regardless, their friendship shines, and Bella Ramsay decides to follow her to wherever she wants to take her. So Riley takes her to an abandoned mall. They get inside the mall, and turns out everything is working. Riley turns on the lights, flips a switch, and everything is working. Everything's lit up. Beautiful scene. It's a rundown mall. Nice nostalgic flashback to some of the older stores. I was trying to figure out when this mall exactly closed down, because it seems like they were making a lot of references to the 80s. I could have sworn everything should have shut down in early 2000, but regardless, I saw some 80s references like the Esprit store. We've got Take On Me by Aha playing in the background. Apparently that is Ellie's choice of song. In the video game, it's exactly the same. That song is very prominent for Ellie as well. She's apparently a big fan because she also has a cassette of Aha and the album on her Sony Walkman as she's carrying that thing around. So we've got some nice moments that they share, both Ellie and Riley. Clearly there's a little bit more to this. They're supposed to be best friends, but it looks like there's a little bit more because you see Ellie longingly gaze at Riley, especially the scene at the carousel. And again, another 80s song is playing. You've got Just Like Heaven, or a version of it playing in the background by The Cure as the carousel is moving around. We have another moment with them when they get to a photo booth and they have a great time taking crazy faces and funny faces pictures in that photo booth. Again, that is a reference to and taken directly from the video game. By the way, in that video game for Last of Us, there was a extra downloadable content, a separate side game, side mission called Left Behind. And so far, this episode seems to follow very closely to that video game. We even get the scene where they get to the arcade, and there we see Mortal Kombat 2, and some of the games that they come across seem to be also taken straight from that DLC Left Behind. Now, one thing I didn't understand is how in the world Riley knew all the moves and the fatalities in Mortal Kombat 2. It's not something you just kind of figure out on your own. And apparently she's been at it or had access to that game all this time, and somehow she figured out all fatalities. So a little fishy there. Next, Riley shows Ellie that she's found a volume 2 book of the puns and joke book. So they have another giggle session over reading some of the really bad dad jokes that are in that book. And as Ellie's looking around, she sees stashed on the shelf a bunch of pipe bombs, IEDs, that were made, I guess, or given to Riley for her Fireflies gig. So again, they get into another philosophical discussion. Riley finally reveals to Ellie that the whole reason that she wanted to bring her out for a night of fun, she's got all these things that she wants to show her, is because she's leaving. She's been asked, or she's been reassigned to another place, another city. I believe she mentioned Atlanta. I'm sorry, all the cities are mixing together. So she'll be leaving Boston, and Ellie is pissed. She's pissed that, you know, after leaving for 3 weeks and you're coming back only to leave again. She's angry. She stomps her way out, all the way out to the front door again, or almost to the front door, only to turn back because I guess she realizes that this might be a last moment with her. Next, we see in one of the department stores, or I guess it's a costume shop, Halloween shop, they see masks where Ellie is being asked to put on a wolf mask and Riley is putting on a clown mask, and they're dancing to music. And again, this is straight out of the video game. Exact same masks from the video game as well. And they share a nice moment. And finally, I guess the tension has built up to the point where Ellie and Riley share their first kiss. It's so obvious Ellie is so nervous. She doesn't know what to expect. And I guess she was expecting the worst. And Riley, looks like the feeling is mutual. It was nice to see Ellie happy in that moment. But it didn't last, because lo and behold, there is an infected out somewhere, and that building being abandoned and pretty much locked down. Originally they thought a lot of infected were in there. There were not. But one of them lived. Now, I don't know where he was all this time, but here he is finally awakened, and he attacks. He attacks them. Ellie ends up stabbing that thing and I guess killing it. And when the dust settles and they look at each other, Ellie sees and shows the bite marks on her arm. And we see that Riley has also been bitten as well. Again, another sad gut punch of a moment where we see some peaks and valleys in this episode. You know, they're on a high from getting together and sharing a nice moment together. And now we see here that it won't last because they both think and they both fear that they're going to die. The flashback ends. We cut back to Ellie in the house, frantically searching for supplies. She finally finds a sewing kit. Then we go back to the flashback again, and Riley and Ellie are sitting next to each other and contemplating what's next. And then the flashback goes back to showing Ellie stitching Joel up. So it's another strong episode. Again, as I said in the spoiler-free review, strong performances, great performances by Storm, Reid, and Bella Ramsay. It's an episode dedicated truly to the both of them. They both shined, they delivered. There were great moments that they shared together. You could really feel the tension, the nervousness between the girls, and the sadness when they realized that they're not going to be able to share any more moments like this in the near future. And again, a gut punch of an episode as well. Not as big of a gut punch as the other episode with Sam, but still just as bad here. And at the same time, you really feel for Ellie. All the stuff that she's experienced so far has just been devastating, tragic. And it's like, what else can happen to this poor girl, right? As she's going through all of this. Put all that together with what she's experiencing with Joel, and she's fearing that she's about to lose Joel because he's on death's door. Well, that's it for this video, everyone. Thanks for joining me, and until next time as we review and break down the last 2 episodes of this season. So 8 and 9, that's it for this season until the next. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.